Okay.
As you can see,
Kita nyo yun? Ay, narinig nyo yun? Okay.
Yes po.
Okay.
urinary system orientation was made by our chairman, no, Dr. Grace Bardelosa. So let's start this. Okay. So as you well know, when you say urinary system, it's only made up of 4 organs. No? The kidney, the urethra, the ureter, and of course your urinary bladder. So we can basically divide the parts into the kidney and your urinary passages. So we'll take up first the kidney, of course. So this is actually a gross picture, of your kidney, where you can actually see it divided into 2 main parts. The medial border, so in the medial half, you will see these structures here, and on the other half, the lateral half, this is where you will find what we call the renal parenchyma. Okay, let's just briefly point out to you what we will find here in the medial border. Firstly, of course, you will see a slit-like opening, what we call the renal hilum, where you will see your ureter, the artery, the blood vessel, lymphatics, nerves, and so forth will enter or exit into your kidney. So what else would we see here? The main thing that you will see will be the proximal part of your ureter, what we call the pelvis, renal pelvis. And arising from this are your, firstly, you have this large cup-like structures, what we call your major calyces, so this one's here. And then again, from there, you will see also this smaller cup-like structures, what we call your minor calyces. So much for the medial half of our kidney. So don't forget, all of this can be seen on gross examination of your kidney. Now, for the lateral half, as we said, we have your parenchyma, which is, as you can see, also can be divided into an outer zone, what we call the cortex, and an inner zone made up of this pyramidal structures, or conical structures, what we call the renal pyramids. So let's move on and look at the next slide. So we're going to concentrate in the next slides into your histological features of your kidney. So most lateral, of course, you will see the covering of the kidney, what we call the renal capsule. So here it is. And again, we see here, right next to the capsule will be, of course, the cortex. Now, the main clue that you are in the cortex will be this apparently roundish structures, this ones, and this ones over here, which are what we call your renal corpuscles. Okay, let's look at this further. And again, on the other half, of course, we say you have the medulla, which on the other hand, you only find tubules, So if you have only tubules in your scene, this means that you are in the medulla. On the other hand, if you see corpuscles in your picture, then you are in your cortex. Now, let's go back to the cortex. As we were saying, the main structure that we're looking at here is actually as a whole, what we call your renal corpuscle. Now, the renal corpuscle is actually made up of several parts. Firstly, you have what we call your Bowman's capsule. So here, this is your Bowman's capsule over here. And of course, also what we call your glomerulus. So this one here. That will be in total what we call your renal corpuscle. Now, aside from this, we also have what we call the renal tubules, and we have basically 3 of them. No? So let's look first here at this renal corpuscle. No? So the glomerulus, as you well know, is actually said to be made up of a tuft of capillaries. So these are capillaries which you will find out are classified as your fenestrated capillaries without diaphragm. Okay. Now, aside from that, you see here on the outermost portion, this parietal, now we say parietal layer of the Bowman's capsule, because we also have, of course, a visceral layer, which is so, what you might say, very opposed to the surface of your glomerulus, so it really cannot be differentiated. Anyway, between the supposed to be glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule, you will see a space, what we call the urinary space. Right. So what else do we see here in this picture? You'll see again the first 2 types of tubules that we have. The first one here is what we call the proximal convoluted tubule, and next to it is your distal convoluted tubule. Now, how do we differentiate these 2 types of tubules that you see very near? Note that they're usually seen very near your renal corpuscle. Okay. So firstly, let's look at your proximal convoluted tubule. It's lined by simple cuboidal cells with what we call brush border. These are actually microvilli protruding from the cells, so we just call them brush border. On the other hand, here in the distal convoluted tubule, it is also lined by simple cuboidal epithelium, although the brush border is not very obvious, but note, this also contains what we call sparse brush border. So when we ask you for the lining epithelium, you might just say for the distal convoluted, you just say simple cuboidal epithelium with sparse brush border. But for the proximal, you say that it's simple cuboidal epithelium with brush border. Another thing is that how do we differentiate? No, we said it's both simple cuboidal, both of them containing brush border. For one, you can see here that the cells of the proximal convoluted tubule are quite large, and they are really a little bit far apart from one another because they're quite large nga. Aside from that, apparently they look edematous, so they're quite far from each other. Another thing is that they are eosinophilic, highly eosinophilic. So you can easily see the difference between the cell here as against the cell here. So for one thing, another one that you will see, of course, is that the brush border here in the PCT is very obvious. Okay? Sorry po, nauuwa lang ako. And then here in the DCT, note that your cuboidal cells are smaller. And since they are smaller, they have more of them in the tubule. Here, there's just a fewer cells in the tubule. So the cells in the DCT are smaller, they're nearer to each other, and therefore, as you can see, there are more of them in your DCT. Okay? So these are the things which will be able to differentiate immediately on close examination of your picture. Kita naman natin agad na ito iba itsura as against this one. Sorry po. Now, another thing that you will have to see on close examination of the corpuscle is this area. This is what we call the juxtaglomerular apparatus, which is mainly made up of 2 types of cells. The first one here, no, related to what we actually call your distal convoluted tubule is your macula densa, which is said to be responsible for the glomerular blood flow. Okay? So sometimes you just say responsible for the glomerular blood flow. No? Also here on the other hand, how do we describe this? They are usually described as a cell. You remember the cells of the DCT are cuboidal, but here apparently they grow taller, such that they look like columnar in shape already. So that would be your macula densa. Here on the other hand, for the JG cells, or juxtaglomerular cells, so here on the other hand, these are from the afferent. Don't forget, from the afferent arteriole that brings blood to your renal corpuscle. They are part of the cells of the renal afferent arteriole. Okay. So again, here, what would you see? They are close to one another, no? So again, as I said, these two entirely makes up what we call your juxtaglomerular apparatus. By the way, what does your JG cells do? They actually secrete a substance what you call renin, which is responsible for maintaining the blood pressure. Okay, so there you go. That would be your juxtaglomerular apparatus. Now, there's also another cell that is supposed to be found here, but cannot be seen on ordinary histological examination. Now, that is what you call your lacy cell, your Pulkisen cell, or your extramesangial cell. All of these names apply to it, but it cannot be seen here on the histological picture. Okay, so that takes care of the things that you will find here near the renal corpuscle. By the way, let me ask you, if I point out to you this structure, how do you identify this? Hello, guys.
PCT.
Ano po?
Proximal convoluted.
Yes, very good. And so this is now this one. Correct, no? So talaga easily naman identify this one as against that one. Okay, so let's move on. So let's now look on the medulla. So what do we look for in the medulla? You look there at what we call the loop of Henle, no? So you see after the proximal convoluted tubule, it will make a loop downwards going into your medulla. And the loop of Henle will be divided into three parts, no? Firstly, you will have a descending loop, and then you will have a thin loop, and lastly, you will have an ascending loop of Henle. Now, for that matter, no, you might have to consider that since the descending loop, no, just came from the proximal convoluted tubule, therefore they usually have the same features, no? So like this one here, look at that. Then you have your big cuboidal cells with your obvious brush border. So this again is an example of what we call your descending, no, pababa, loop of Henle. Now, after the descending loop of Henle, you will have a thin loop of Henle, which will be lined by squamous epithelium. So this one is an example of your thin thin loop of Henle, which as you can easily see is made up of squamous cells. Then next, your thin loop of Henle, again, we will ascend. And this ascending loop will continue into your distal convoluted tubule. And hence, again, this will have the same picture, no? As your distal convoluted tubule, exemplified by this tubule over here. As you can see, you have the small cells, plenty at dot, and again, still cuboid dot. So you see this an example of your ascending loop of Henle, which you can easily differentiate from this loop over here. No? So again, this loop over here, which looks like your proximal convoluted, is your descending loop of Henle. And if you have a squamous line, no, loop, then that would be your thin loop of Henle. And finally, we ascend again, going to the distal convoluted, and this will again be lined by a lining that is similar to your distal convoluted tubule, like this one over here. Okay, so can you now differentiate? Okay, let's look at this. What do you think is this one? Ascending, descending. Ito po. Descending, ascending.
Ascending.
Ano? Descending, ascending. Yun lang naman tatanong sa inyo eh. Descending or ascending? What do you think?
Ascending po.
Descending. Yun, tama, tama. Galing, galing. Okay. Now, what about, let me look at another picture. Lang yata makita. Oh, eto. Ano to?
Ascending po.
Ascending. Correct, no? Pagka yung itsura ng mga cells, malinaw-linaw as against this one. Kasi kita mo naman talaga parang this one looks like parang may mga cottony structures within, di ba? So this one, pagka may cottony structures, then that will be descending. As against this one na medyo clear naman, that of course would be ascending. Meron po tayo nakikita dito thin loop. Sorry. Medyo nangangatilalamunan, wala ng thin loop. Susunod, tingin tayo. Ayan, o diba? Ito, thin loop. Another one here, it's a thin loop. So dito, pag medyo more distal from your capsule, you see more of your thin loop of Henle. So another, sorry po. Another structure we'd like to point out is this one over here. No? As you can see, this have your columnar cell. Actually, baka ito pa mas maganda din, obvious columnar cells, di ba? This will be now known as your collecting duct. Okay? So, ayun ha. Pag yung duct natin is already lined by simple columnar epithelium, it now becomes your collecting duct. Okay? So, there you go. These are the things we'd like you to know with regards to your renal medulla. Are you clear or do you want to look at some more? Hello, guys. Okay na ba kayo? Ha? Okay na?
Okay na po, Doc.
O, sige. Salamat po. Let's move on. So, the next structure we're going to look at will be your urinary passages, the first of which is your ureter. Now, firstly, note that usually, no, your urinary passages are only made up of 3 layers, no? So again, from in going out, you have your mucosa, followed by your tunica muscularis, and of course, followed by lastly, your tunica adventitia. So let's look at the ureter over here. So here, easily seen, no? Diba? So this one here will be your innermost portion, which is your mucosa, no? Followed by a very thick, actually this is lamina propria, no? And then you have your muscularis, tunica muscularis, and at the outermost you have your adventitia. Okay? So this is the line epithelium, and line epithelium usually, no, line epithelium for your urinary passages will be what we call your transitional epithelium or uroepithelium or simply urothelium, no? So mucosa again is made up of course of line epithelium and your lamina propria. Okay? Huwag niyo kalimutan na pag mucosa, dalawang sub-layers. Line epithelium and your lamina propria. Okay, so this is how your ureter looks like on your scanner view. What is easily obvious here is the lumen. No, look at the lumen. You can see it as star shape. No, that is usually how we describe it. It is star shape. And again, as we said, is lined by transitional epithelium and a thick lamina propria followed by your tunica muscularis, no? Which is generally, no, pag tunica muscularis only of 2 sublayers, no? Which is I-look. So inner longitudinal, outer circular. Okay? So ito na po. This we have then, again, as we said, tunica adventitia. Now, this is another view of your ureter. Again, you will see here the star-shaped lumen. We see here again the transitional epithelium, no? Which makes up your line epithelium. Again, we have a thick lamina propria, followed by your tunica muscularis of 2 sublayers. Again, we said this is supposed to be I-look, no? And the outermost layer is again your tunica adventitia. So ganun lang kasimple, no? Ang discussion natin dito sa ating ureter. The thing that you have to do is to be able to easily identify what the structure is, no? So the first thing you will notice that on scanner, you can actually see the entire organ. No, kasi maliit nga po talaga ang organ na ito. No? That is why you easily identify on scanner the entire organ. Okay? And so this is how it looks like. Again, this is your transitional epithelium. And one of the characteristics of your transitional epithelium is that it has a superficial layer of dome-shaped cells, no? So, or what we call umbrella cells, no? Kasi nga dome-shaped ang itsura nila, no? That will be the characteristic here, no? Outermost, or actually, hindi pala outer, innermost, no? Kasi sa most superficial part of the lining, you'll see this. No? And then again, here again, we see your lamina propria and so forth. Okay? So wala na masyadong distinction tayong makikita. So the next thing that we have to look at is your urinary bladder. Kasi hindi masyadong pinakita dito yung transitional epithelium, no? That is why I just had to tell you that for the most superficial layer that you find here, you will see what we call the dome-shaped cells or the umbrella cells. Okay? So let's move on and look at your urinary bladder. Now, there are some differences here in the urinary bladder. No? So again, here you have the mucosa, and then you easily see that you find plenty blood vessels here in the mucosa. No? So that is one characteristic that you will find. Plenty blood vessels over here. No? So that one you can easily identify. This one will tell you that this is the urinary bladder. Also, that on your scanner view, you cannot see the entire organ. Just a part of the urinary bladder wall will be seen. No? Now, another characteristic of the urinary bladder is that it has a very thick tunica muscularis. In fact, you have 3 sublayers over here. But what we can say about the muscular layer is that they cannot be separated. No? It's difficult to separate which is the sublayer. And anyway, as a whole, we call this muscle layer as the trusor muscle. Okay. And another thing we'd like to say is that as for the outermost layer, which is usually tunica adventitia, you may find tunica serosa in one area of the urinary bladder. And that is the fundus, which is found in the pelvic area. Ayun, no? So again, what will be the clue that you are looking at serosa? Of course, the outermost lining is your mesothelium. No? That is our clue that we instead have on the outermost layer your tunica serosa. Again, don't forget, there's only one part of the bladder where you will see this, and that will be your fundus of the urinary bladder. Okay, let's move further. All right, so here it is. This is the one I was telling you, no? The outermost cell layer is what we call the umbrella cell or the dome cell, no? So as you can see, ganun po kasi ang shape supposed to be ng kanyang cell. No? And then next to it, of course, is your very thick lamina propria, where you see this plenty blood vessels. Okay? So we already go to your urethra. So there's not much thing that we can say about the urinary bladder, except you will be shown, the umbrella or dome cell. And you will know that this is urinary bladder because right underneath you see the lamina propria with plenty blood vessels. Yun ang clue ha, that it's actually your urinary bladder. Okay? So let's move on to the urethra. So for the male urethra, remember that the male urethra is made up of 3 erectile bodies. Yeah. You have what we call the corpora cavernosa, where there are 2 of them, and we have the 3rd one, which is what we call the corpus spongiosum. Now, the penile urethra is actually found within the corpus spongiosum. So this one here is actually your corpus spongiosum, this entire structure here where you find your penile urethra is within your corpus spongiosum. One thing that you will notice here in your lining epithelium is that you may see these depressions, what we call your lacunae of Morgagni. Okay. Now, if this is already the penile urethra, most likely the lining epithelium is pseudostratified to stratified columnar epithelium. Hindi na po transitional. Transitional epithelium in the urethra of the male is only found on the upper portion, which is what we call your prostatic urethra. No? Magkakaiba po ang lining, epithelium type, depending upon the level of the urethra we're talking of. No? So again, don't forget that from the urinary bladder, as we get to your urethra, the first one that it will encounter will be the prostatic urethra, where we instead have still the uretepithelia. But when we get downwards, now into your membranous, up to your penile urethra, you already have your stratified to your pseudostratified columnar epithelium. No? So ayan po. So this one is most likely stratified or pseudostratified columnar epithelium. And again, as we noted here, you will see this depressions, what we call the lacunae of Morgagni. So after the line epithelium, again, of course, we have your lamina propria. And what we look for in the lamina propria will be your urethral glands. Okay, let's look for them here. Ay, sorry po, wala na pala, hindi na tinuro. Anyway, supposed to be, if you look closely, these round things here, this one and this one, these are your glandular structures, no? Which are actually mucus glands. So we call them your Litter's gland. Hindi na in-identify dito, no? So don't forget Litter's gland. Try to look at it closely in the lecture of our Dr. Bardelosa. How does your Litter's gland looks like? So that all in all will be only the things that you will see here in the urinary system. It's really very easy. No? Just don't forget that we only have three layers in our urinary passages. Again, you have the mucosa, which includes the line epithelium and the lamina propria, followed by your tunica muscularis, and at the outermost, again, you have your tunica adventitia. So that all in all makes up our orientation for today, unless you have any questions.
Okay, that's it. Okay, did you get it? Parang actual orientation din naman, no? Nauubos si ma'am. Nagtatanong. Wala, pero okay.